Low elo, man. It is a stink hole. I've seen a ton of your VODs that you guys have submitted on our website, and oh boy, it is like a zoo down there. You can find all sorts of things, like literally anything. And I feel bad because you guys come to watch these videos so that you can get out of low elo. So I figured today, we're gonna go over 5 mistakes that I consistently see you guys make in low elo. So let's get started. But before we do, if you really want to see what it takes to escape low ranks, we have Smurf commentaries on the website that'll help you. Radiant Smurf explain the thought process, and you apply those lessons to your own game. It's as close as pay to win as you're gonna get. So if you want access to those and so much more, check out the website at SkillCapped.com. So since you guys are stuck in low elo, my biggest tip to you guys is that you should pick 1 or 2 agents and stick with them. There are a ton of agents in the game, and you should take the time to try them out, but you should pick a couple favorites. You could even go the extra mile and learn things like lineups, which I promise you will come up big in some rounds. There's this quote from Bruce Lee that I really like, and it says, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced 1 kick 10,000 times." And this applies to Valorant as well. I mean, just think about it. If you go game to game, locking Raze, then Brimstone, then Reyna, then Sova, are you really learning anything? How much of that game are you retaining? Now imagine you lock Raze for all those games. Your utility usage would probably be a bit better since you just played 4 or 5 games with her. Over the course of an act, this adds up. Let's say you play 100 games an act and you play 5 different agents. How much did you really learn between those 5 agents? Well, one thing's for sure, you probably didn't learn nearly enough as you should have had you only locked 1 or 2. 100 games on Raze is obviously a ton more than just 20. So if you learned 1 or 2 agents over the course of an act, you'll start mastering these agents. Then when it comes to agent select, you'll know what you're best at and you'll bring as much value to your team as possible. For my next point, I think it's really important to talk about 2 things. 1, it's really good that you calm, and you always should. And 2, some things don't need to be calmed. Comms are one of my big 3 things that you can master that'll rank you up almost instantly. You should be calming what you hear, see, and do, and in short bursts. So if you're playing an Icebox A site and you hear a Jet updraft, a Sova's Recon Dart, and Viper's Wall, you should calm 3A. What almost every low elo player does is that once they hear all that, they just say, "It's A! It's A! Oh my god, it's A! And it's heaven! And it's A! Please, dear God, someone help me!" The issue with saying it's A is that it doesn't provide a ton of info for your teammates. Chamber or Viper or someone could be lurking mid or B, and then if your teammates over-rotate, they'll get punished, and the enemy team will go B or something. Now, had you took the time to break down what you heard, your team would be in a much better position and be more aware of what's around them. Don't say they're coming A if all you heard was a Sova Dart. Instead say, Sova darted A. This paints a much better picture for your teammates as to what's going on. So once you get really good at this, you'll start hearing individual footsteps and be able to call things out like 3 here or only 2 here. Comms like this gives your teammates a better idea of what they should or shouldn't do in order to win whatever rounds. Here's a short clip from one of my rank games.
Take flight.
Left to right, 1 right side rail, 1 left city, lower. Left side city lower. Choke, done.
One yellow, I believe. 2 more yellow.
Good flank or no?
Now, listen to how I'm telling my teammates everything and trying my best to tell them exactly where everyone was. Now, there's another part of comms that I want to cover, and it's useless comms. And I hate this. I could make a list of useless comms and make this video go for like 3 hours, but I'll try and keep it short. Telling your teammate that their dog is a useless comm. Telling your team, "Hey guys, we need to stop throwing," is a useless comm. Asking your team, "How did we lose that?" is a useless comm. It just amazes me how much people say in this game and how useless some of this stuff is. Like, do you really think that asking your team, "How did everybody die that round?" Or, "Well, why was no one holding me?" Like, you'll think you'll actually accomplish something by asking these questions? I'm doing a guide in the future based on tilt, the signs of it, how to avoid it, and one of the biggest signs of tilt is whether or not you're still worried about the previous rounds or games. Stop worrying about last round. Focus on the next and come up with a plan. And instead of saying, "Yo, can you guys come out of A main instead of baiting me?" say something like, "Hey guys, when I dash out, can you guys close the door for me? We only need 1 person at A main to hold flank and swing off us." This comm is so much more useful than any of the other stuff I mentioned previous. Not only that, but by not saying stupid things and only saying, constructive things, this brings up the overall mental of the team. And if you've watched our previous videos talking about mental, you'll know just how important it is in a game like Valorant. So to keep it simple, just remember what my mom used to tell me. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Now, another thing that low elo players don't really understand is the concept of map control. I mean, this concept is extremely important in a wide variety of situations. From lurking to post plans, retakes, map control is something that will win or lose you rounds. Understanding what it is and how to handle each situation will give you an upper hand in so many rounds. For example, if you have the spike planted on A site on ascent, you ideally want someone to play A main, as they can spot heaven for the team, or swing out of a smoke on contact. The person usually sitting in main would be the sentinel or initiator who owl droned or prowlered them in. On haven, you usually want someone sitting A short or A long for the same reasons. This map control concept can be applied to every map, and the sooner you realize it's important, the sooner you'll win more games. This is why the sentinel role is so important. On some maps, there aren't enough players to hold all of this map control, so things like cipher trap wires and killjoy bots are extremely valuable. Good sentinel players make the world of difference on any team. I recently coached a killjoy main through a game, and listened to what I had to say to him after the game. For when your team goes A, you hold all this map control for them. So let's say, for example, they want to go A, all right? They're going A. They get brim mollied. They can't go anymore. Thank God we have a killjoy who's holding down mid, so we can rotate out. And then maybe you kill a guy that's trying to flank, right? And that's huge, because now your teammates can like leave, or they can cut noise and re-hit, right? That's when it becomes really big. When you're retaking, you again need to keep in mind what parts of the map you need to retake, because without certain parts, you're just going to lose. Like for example on Fracture, if the enemy team splits A through Sand, you need to retake Sand first before taking the site. If you don't, you'll just end up in a big crossfire from site. Or on Pearl, if you want to retake A, you need to take Dugout, as it's a really strong position to have. Or on Ascent, you need to take Tree before retaking A. If you all funnel in through Heaven, your team is just going to get obliterated or stuffed out by utility. And this needs to be coordinated with your team too. So if you're on the retake, ask your teammates to retake parts with you. I promise, if you try to maximize your map control, you'll win a ton more rounds. And speaking of maps, did you know that you can literally win games just by knowing how to play each map? Like for example on Icebox, you can't really plant on B without a Sage. So if the enemy team doesn't have a Sage, just molly this plant spot and the enemy team is going to have a lot harder time getting the spike down. On A site, it's all about scaling. So as long as you have a Sova drone, your team should have an easy time getting up site. Ascent, Pearl, and Haven are all about map control and defaulting, and Bind is about executes and fast pacedness. Breeze and Icebox are about scaling up and fast executes. Listen, I could sit here and tell you all day on how to play each map, but I'd be here forever. But what we do have are map courses up on the website that break all of this down for you, and other videos on our channel. Here's a snippet of one of them. Okay, I don't know if Riot is going to rework it, change it, or do something to it, but what I do know is that if you are a Split fan, then Pearl should be a good replacement until it's back. What I mean by that is that just like Split, mid control is going to be very, very important. Let's just take a look at the map's layout. Alright, so let's say that your team just wants to hit A. Okay, well, you're going to do that by Sova droning up A main, laying smokes, and hitting the site. But where exactly are you going to smoke? I mean, hopefully you're playing Brimstone, because you need at least 3 to block all 3 sight lines. But even then, where are you going to be playing on post plan? Knowing how to play each map is vital if you're looking to rank up. Using external sources that show you how to play each map optimally will give you an upper hand in your games, I promise. Lastly, everyone in low elo that I've coached knows that their mechanics need work. I mean, in all honesty though, everyone could use some work on their mechanics. Even pros still work on their mechanical ability day in, day out. Guns are really strong in this game, and knowing how to use them is literally one way you can carry yourself to any rank. There are a ton of mechanic guides that we have on our channel, but a tip that I want to share with you briefly is that you guys don't really want to hold W key into sight, but running straight forward versus side to side with your A and D keys is way less effective. Here, watch another clip from my coaching session. It'll make more sense. And not only that, the issue with the way that you walked out was you went like this, right? And you went like this, which isn't the best. So hold what this chamber was holding. It was like this, right? You sit on this angle? Yeah, sit on the box you were standing. So you tell me which is harder to hit. So this is how, tell me which is harder to hit, this or this.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
obviously the second one.
So-
You can't be using the W.
Exactly, right.
Longer-
You do not
longer plan.
you do not want to be W keying, simply because it makes you an easier target to hit. So as you're coming out stand, right? So like you're coming out, you clear door, right? And you're getting ready to clear sight. You want to hold W, okay, W some more. I mean A. I'm sorry, not W.
Yeah.
You're gonna be holding A, like
Don't hold W.
so you're going across because this is a lot easier to hit. So this was all just one of many in-depth guides that we have on our website though. Also, if you want a chance at having your VOD reviewed like this guy did, be sure to subscribe on our website at SkillCapped.com. We also have tons of Radiant Smurf commentaries. We have Radiant players walking through exactly how to have the most impact possible in a bunch of different situations. As I mentioned before, it's also backed by a rank improvement guarantee, and the reason to do that is because you're just that confident that our service works. And if it doesn't work, then you shouldn't pay. So what are you waiting for? You got nothing to lose. Head on over to SkillCapped.com and get started on your way to the rank that you deserve. So hopefully you low elo players learned a thing or two from this video. Learning the fundamentals of this game is easy at first, but mastering them is the key to hitting those high ranks. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel down below. It really does help us out. And that's all for us. I'm Teets, and we here at SkillCapped want to thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.